the magic of boxing. And when people say, oh, it does brain damage. Oh, it's dangerous. It should be banned. Oh, there's too many drugs in it or whatever. I go back and I say, talk to Spencer Oliver, talk to Michael Watson, talk to Nick Blackwell, talk to these guys who have gone through really difficult times, who have gone through, and I'm never brave enough to go into a ring, but I had to deal with cancer. And only after that, Sean, only after that did I really, truly understand what it's like to be at rock bottom, what it's like to maybe the fighters who've lost or who've been injured or something, and they've got to find a way to come back through life, through dealing with mental health, through dealing with a different physical change to them maybe. And I have so much respect, more respect now. I had so much before I had my illness for fighters and for sports people who I love, but since, I mean, almost double it. And that's why I will always say I am grateful for every opportunity, and will only do this because of the boxers, because of the brave men and women that get into that squared circle and they do it. It's their life, and they're putting that on the line for our entertainment, for our viewing, for our enjoyment. And wow, it's an unbelievable sport if you look at it like that. And there's so many characters in it, and it is a sport that sort of drags you in. I remember taking one of my daughters to a fight. Both of them, they've all come. My 3 kids have come to watch Katie. We're pretty close to Katie Taylor. So they've all been to watch Katie, but they're not big boxing fans. My son's a big football fan, and my daughters, yeah, they'll watch it, they'll come. But my eldest daughter came a while back to a show in Sheffield, and she was introduced to John Pegg, who's a great boxing man, one of the great boxing men from the Midlands. And he said to Jessamy, he said, what are you doing here? And she said, oh, I like the boxing. She said, but he said, well, what are you doing with your life? She said, well, I'm about to start uni and I'm going to study criminology. I'm really fascinated by people that commit crime and look into the sort of forensic, what makes a thief, what makes it someone murder someone, difficult stuff, right? But she's very fascinated, as we all are a bit, I think, by Crime Watch and all those sort of programs. And she watched all sort of things. And John said, well, you're in the right place, because when God dropped lunatics into the world, he chucked them into boxing. And I think there's something to be said about that. We're all a bit nuts in the boxing world. I think we've all got good hearts, and I think we all love the entertainment and we love the ups and downs. But yeah, we're all slightly crazy. You've got to have a screw missing to get in the ring in the first place. But I think you sort of probably got to have a screw missing to be a commentator too, because we work mad hours. We're all in. We get very emotional as well. You can't on mic. It's very difficult, but sometimes you lose the plot. I've done it before when Danny Williams won the British heavyweight title with one arm. Unbelievable. When Diego Corrales somehow got off the floor twice against Jose Luis Castillo. When AJ got off the floor to win at Wembley. These sort of moments. I bumped into a guy who said, oh, Scott Dixon sends his best. You might not know Super Scott Dixon. He had a fight with Derek Roach in the Midlands for a British welterweight title many years ago. I mean, they got off the floor so many times. It was extraordinary what they went through. Alex Arthur and Michael Gomez, Matt Macklin and Jamie Moore. That's at British level. Mm. There are so many incredible stories and gladiators. Alex Arthur dropped me a message the other day. He said, me and you should work together. He knows it, Alex Arthur. He's great. There's a ton of them out there. And the Jamie Moores who you see go on and do real well. My wingman, Johnny Nelson, who I spent so many years with at Sky, and just seeing what he's got out of boxing beyond. It's an area that fascinates me, Sean, life after. And I just want these fighters to be happy, to be healthy, to be structured. They've got to have another job. They've got to do something different. They can't just sit around when they retire at 35, 40. They've got the whole lives in front of them. And the happier ones are the ones that keep working, keep themselves ticking over, and are not bitter. Because if you're bitter and resentful, I could be bitter about my cancer and say, why did it happen to me? But you know what? I was saved. I shouldn't be here. I'm lucky. So I'm grateful for my stoma. I'm grateful to be sat here today, and I'll never take anything for granted ever again. And it also makes me think, hey, if someone doesn't want me to commentate or they don't want me to do something and they do say no, like they did a lot when I was a kid trying to break through, I'll be okay. I'll be all right, because I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. And I'm very lucky to be back in the boxing world that I adore. People have been amazing to me. And, you don't know this, but a lot of people don't know this, but people came through the doors of my hospital I was in 4 hospitals, Sean, 4 hospitals over 3.5 painful months. And I'll tell you, those people that came through, I had messages from Frank and Kala and Nisse. Eddie banged the doors down he was there on my bedside when I was in a real bad way. Ben Shalom came and saw me. I had AJ messaging me one night, like through the night, getting me through one of those nights. Tyson Fury, Katie, I can't tell you. And that's the big names. Dillian, Derek, I can't tell you how many people, when it was so rough, reached out to me. A lot of people didn't even know my situation, but those who did, and those who didn't, when they knew it, they were like, Adam, it's just so good to see you happy and alive and well. I am so grateful for the support and love I had. I'm so grateful for the support I've had since the DAZN announcement, and that I'm back on the mic with Barry and with Darren and with Carl and with the team. I'm so grateful for that opportunity. I loved Sky. Cut me in half and I bled Sky. I was at Sky for 30 years and 95% of it I loved. And at the end, it was the right time to go. It was the right time to move on. I had a year out almost. I needed it. I was mentally and physically broken. I needed a break. I got it. I loved my Sky friends, I miss them, but I needed to move on, and I'm doing fun and cool things now. I'm balancing it with my family. I'm working at a food bank. I'm doing some cool stuff, and you know what? I'm really enjoying life, Sean. I'm really grateful for every day. And instead of waking up and stressed and like, oh my God, what's Eddie done today? Constantly sort of, oh my God, can I deal with today? And having your 3 hours sleep. Now, if I have 3-4 hours sleep, I get up and I'm like, okay, I'm a bit tired, but I'm here. It's another day. I've got a big tube that's attached to me at night. It's not pleasant. It's not easy, but that stoma keeps me alive. And hey, I am so grateful to the doctors that saved me. I didn't think I'd get through. There were times where I was just broken. I lost 4 stone in weight. I was looking at myself in the mirror thinking, I cannot do this. I can't fight. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I can't fight. I couldn't go in a ring, but I had to fight for my life, and it was really hard. And I guess I'm just really grateful that I'm through that. And hey, look, I have my scans, and I don't know what the future holds. None of us do. What I do know is that for today, I'm really happy, and tomorrow I'll deal with. But yeah, I feel very grateful to be here.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't know a lot about certain cancers, and I'd love, for you to talk us through some of the things that you went through in a little bit more detail. I can resonate with you here a lot because my mum's going through cancer right now, and unfortunately they found out stage 4, which is already broke stomach lining, in the fat tissues, CT scans. I didn't know what PET scans were before. I didn't know any of these things, and then chemo to push things back. She's past the stage where you could even do an operation to cut it out. So it's like on borrowed time. So every day is gratitude and
Absolutely.
giving thanks.
I'm sorry to hear that, but also you're right. Every day is very important. The one thing is, Sean, is that we all are born and we all die. So, and there's ways of thinking about it. You can think you're invincible. You can be really frightened of it, but ultimately, going through that with your mum, and as I said, I'm really sorry to hear that. And it's about accepting and enjoying what time you do have, because as I said, all of us are not going to be here. It's a short window. I lost a couple of friends, one in my 20s. He died in a fire, and I lost another friend who was hit by a driver when he was riding a bike. Horrendous injuries, accidents, horrendous horror stories, terrible, tragic. So yeah, look, you don't know which way life's going to go. And I think that, the time you have with your mom, just enjoy every moment. And and I hope that she's got what she wanted out of life up to this stage. I think that's another way of looking at it. I knew Colin Hart had terminal cancer a few weeks before he died. And we spent time talking about what he thought about his life, and the fact that he was at a stage where he was very pragmatic. And he said, I've enjoyed my career at work, and I've loved my family life. And he was very, very accepting of it. And I think that's, I guess, the only thing and only place you can be at. It's tough.
So Adam, you know, they say, well, on the news it said that potentially 1 in every 2 of us